الله الكبير. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله الكبير. Again, we are grateful to God for giving us this opportunity, and this opportunity has been really extended for us during this month, and we are humbled with this generosity from God and this love and huge blessing that He has bestowed upon us during this month. And we're also doing this contact prayers today, and this is congregational contact prayers that we are doing through cyberspace, and we are actually able to do this, and this is again another huge favor that God has bestowed upon us. So we should remember this and be grateful to the source of all of this blessings that we have, and it's a unique opportunity that we have that it's not other people do not have. So we have to make sure that we understand it and we are responding in kind to all of the blessings that He has given us. So again, gratefulness and appreciativeness is a godlike quality, and we have to follow His path, which is the only path. And so the other paths will take us to the oblivion, and so we do not want to take that. Those are the wrong paths, and we should avoid them and make sure that we're only following God's instructions and His commandments, and that He's also reminders that He's given us. We take it to heart and understand it and be grateful to Him. So today, what I wanted to actually bring up, I actually alluded to this month that's so important, and this mechanism of this kind of worship that we are practicing this month. It's really important for us to understand it, understand the meaning of it, and the huge hidden benefit that it has for us that we do not understand, we do not know, and God says that fasting is best for you if you only knew. And so this is an exercise that we go once a year this month of Ramadan, which is the 9th month, and we are actually practicing this in a way that makes us remember God. And that's the most important thing that could happen. So this time, during the regular days of the year, except for this month, we are doing the practice of worship, and God is telling us that remember God, make sure that you have God on your mind and thinking about God. But this is now, it's actually an extra benefit that has, this month has that extra benefit that we are making sure, okay, that the entire day, the entire daylight, that's from the dawn of Fajr or dawn, okay, to sunset, okay, that entire period of time, which is called an-nahar, that entire period of time we are thinking of God. Okay. That's what's important. And we have to be grateful to the source of this huge blessing that He's given us. Because when we do this, okay, this is exactly what God wants us to do. He wants us to think about Him. And what a better opportunity than this. There is no better opportunity that could actually be provided for us than making sure that we are thinking of God, that we have God on our mind, that God is the one who does everything for us. Okay, so that's the hidden message that God has put in there, that fasting is best for you if you only knew. A lot of us think that means a physical benefit. we immediately think of physical benefits. But I believe that's the wrong approach. Part of it is physical benefits, of course. But the most important part is that in this month, during this time, see, because God says, go after my bounty during the day. Okay, you have a lot of things to do during the day, go after my bounty. Okay? So, with all of that thing that keeps us busy during the day, we're also thinking of God. That is the absolutely best thing that could happen to us. So when he tells us that if you only knew that this is the best for you, okay, means we don't know the dimensions of it. We have no clue about the dimensions of fasting and how good it is actually for our soul. That during this month your soul keeps growing, or leaps and bounds. And this blessing that we have during this month is immeasurable. We can't even think about it. Okay. So when we read those verses, we have to also look at the spiritual aspect of those verses, not just the physical aspects. Okay. We are really, we are tied down to those physical benefits when you think about it. Okay? But there's always, with all of these things, there's a spiritual component that we usually miss. Okay? And the way that God has described it, okay, he says, look, if you're sick, I know it, I understand it. I understand you're sick. Don't do it. Okay? So when he says that, if you follow that instruction, you are also, think about it very carefully, you're also obeying God's commandments, following his instructions. So what are you doing even if you're not fasting? Due to some illness or something that you have. You are thinking about God again. Okay? You are thinking about God. So, no matter how you are, physically, spiritually, you're still growing during this month. And we used to miss this fact, this huge fact, that during this month, if you're healthy, if you're whole and able, that's what God says. If you're whole and able, this is decreed for you. God says, look, if you are doing this or you're traveling, don't do this. If you're traveling, you can do it later. Because he doesn't want your discomfort. If you are not traveling and you're sick, okay, and you have a cold or something, don't fast during those days, do it later. If you have a chronic illness that you cannot do this, period. If you are in that situation, again, you are obeying God's commandments and you are thinking of that obedience that you have to God. So no matter what, you're still thinking about God. So that dimensional spiritual aspect of it has not gone away. That spiritual aspect is still there. And you're benefiting from it. Because you are growing your soul during that period of time. Because you are thinking of God. So that's the beauty of this month. And as I said, okay, we have to be on our best behavior during this month. No doubt about it. Okay? No doubt about it. And then God will provide for us, physically and spiritually, both. We should make sure that we're on our best behavior during this month. That we are nice. Okay? And our fasting is only seen by God. We don't do it to show off in front of men. We do it for the sake of God. We do it because we want to think about God. We do it because it's the right thing to do. Because God has said so. And we trust Him. So that should be our policy. It should be our way of life. Okay. Obedience to God should be number one thing that we do in this world. If we don't do that, we are going to see the consequences, and the consequences are not happy. The consequences will bring sadness to us. So many things in the Quran that God is telling us not to do, and then so many things that He tells us to do. And so we should do those do and don'ts if we want to be on the side of God. Okay. So, again, wash your faces. Okay. Look cheerful to people. Do not look sad or something. Okay. Don't get angry. Don't become mean with people. If you do that, then you're going to have a happy Ramadan, like as we have it on the website, Happy Ramadan. That would be a happy Ramadan. Otherwise, it's going to be a sad Ramadan. It's not going to be good. Because we are not obeying God's commandments. Okay? So, God, it says that these are good for you. This is the best for you if you only knew. Okay? So remember now, the same thing. Okay? In the New Testament, Jesus says that. He says, look, when you're fasting, do not disfigure your faces as the hypocrites do. Because they do that, so fasting would be seen by men. You should anoint your hair and wash your faces and look cheerful. So your fasting will only be seen by God. Because He is the one. You are not showing up in front of people. The same thing with contact prayers. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because you want to impress other people. You do that because it's God's commandment that He has given you, and we have to obey that. And then we'll have a happier life. You have a life of satisfaction. That's what God is telling us, and He promises in the Quran. I'm going to stop here and we finish this unit. Allah